Here's a script that'll cost you about, I'd say $2.50 to pull the trigger. You're risking 16 pips, but I think you're probably risking at least 11 per side if your spread's 3, which I have 3 on this broker. This is a fixed retail broker. This is a micro account. And so the deal is here is that you wait till you see a doji and you pull the trigger. So you got the script looks like this. It's a it's gonna last here for 15 minutes. So you know that if you pull the trigger every 15 minutes, you're risking $6 an hour. So you just have like a cheaper than a Bernie Sanders is a Bernie Madoff. So you've got that going for you. Of course, this is presupposing you have the discipline to sit on your hands and not touch the button that erases, the history of mankind. So, and I just put the red. I put a blue for buy stop and a red for, so I can see if they landed on the screen. Now, there should be an EA that can launch this puppy every time we get a doji or a hammer. This is basically looking for a small body. We just don't want to pull the trigger here when the market is on fire, because they're going to chop us. If the market should start to go, we want to get in before the fight. So right in the calm of the storm, there's always the eye of the storm, and then we have the other. So the market plunges down, then it pauses, then it plunges again. So you can have an equaled price pulse. I mean, the simplest price pulse is 1, 2, 3. So the correction waves are like a fast down wave. Barely has a chance to pause and then down once again. So this comes in, if you're running limits, you need to balance it out with stop entry. Or you can just peel off one of these and make this a trend system. So every time you get a doji on a swing low and you want to get in on the top, or you just want to run trailing buy stops, but this one forces you to be non-directional, which is always a good skill, to not care where it's going. You just want to go somewhere. Of course, this doesn't fit in with most people's view of the market, is they want to know the direction it's going. But if you settle for the fact that before it goes somewhere, it's kind of like a movie that you're in and you didn't write the script. So as you're in the car, you need a ride, and it just so happens Bonnie and Clyde picks you up, but they happen to be going the way you're going, so you have to be a pragmatist and go the way you're going. But being not a pragmatist, being a person like most people that live on logic and reason and walk around the room thinking, well, I have to measure all my moves in the room, and they talk about measured moves in the market. When the market's not moving, that's very important. So when it's not moving, what do? And coming to Asia here, I've run the script before where it could also buy at the market and sell at the market instantaneously and lock in a hedge with stops. Although this one's slightly different from the standpoint, it's actually taking you in whichever way the wind blows. Now, if the wind should stir up before it blows in one direction, yeah, they're going to chop you out of this. So maybe you press a button and you buy at the market with a stop. And then every time maybe every 15 minutes you pull that trigger regardless. And the other one, you're waiting for the actual doji to get that's their pattern. That's your triangle. The doji is nothing more than a flag, a triangle, fill in the blank. It's certainly not a big bullish or bearish move. In one, like say you're marching along, there's 10 bars of nothing going on, there's one spike. It's completely different than those. But when that thing spikes, it's too late to get in on stops. You can't see on most charts that those 1 hour spikes include probably 30 pips of just complete insanity, and then it finally closes at the end of the hour. But anything that happened inside that on a tick chart, like there's a whole world inside of that one candle on the 1 hour. So unless you have a trade plan for that kind of spastic behavior, forget about it. But I have run those. Well, in other words, I put in, when the market pauses, I've jumped one of these in. Now, if you're watching the market freak out and it pauses, sometimes it pauses just because there's so much trading going on. There's not enough time for the server to catch up. But when it explodes in one direction or the other, then the trade's over. And then you could wait for it to get quiet and launch the same dumbass strategy. But you could also be aware of the fact that you're in some kind of trend. And you're going to get these ricochets and stuff off of key levels. If it goes to one key level first and comes back, then it kind of destroys the idea that it's going to drift down there. So if it spikes down there and comes back, this is why your orders are in regardless of when you get there, in a sense, because you could get there in 40 seconds or 40 minutes. That price is really appetizing. So whether this bird, if you can imagine that you got some food out there and this animal sees it and dives in for it, everybody's aware it's sitting out there, and they come back and feed on it. I watched a bird here steal food away from another bird. I just thought, yeah, it's like a retest. Like this market's just good for that, for the insanity. Now we're going to come with some kind of news here. So 5 minutes before the top of the hour, you get this spasticness too here. Let's check out the. Okay, so here's a doji. Now, if I could put on another hedge right now, or I just get in when I get out and go flat, and then put on another doji. So here I could just do this. Now, I may not fill the up leg on this broker. If it's already off to the races, it just won't fill. The nice thing about this on a retail fixed pip spread broker is that it's only filled the sell stop so far, because when I pressed that button, it was too late to get in the price. So it's pending right now. I can't launch any more scripts, but if it does come back down, it will launch that. It will launch that order based on. I think it's actually looking for that first price it saw when I hit the button. So if it doesn't get that price, it's never going to fill, and it's just going to go up. So I'd have to clear. If I hit delete all objects, guess not. I guess it, normally if you do not fill that order, it's going to lock it. Now here I could say, well, I think it's. I wait another. This is a 5 minute chart, but it's a 15-minute order. So on here, there's no. The only entries here, double top. Right, you would have got in here. Nice narrow range. Your Bollinger Bands are coming together. You got a double top. You got two hammers and a double top. Who's not selling that? Or who's not aware of the fact that it used to be the floor, right? But I think we're going to rip this out tonight. We're just going to go blasting through the top, right? As you normally do on this session. Comes down here, then kaboomo, right? Up like a rocket. So you have this. You have the narrow breakout here. So it paid off here and kind of a marching down. And since you have a stop that's 8 pips above there, I'm sorry, well, your stop's 8 pips above. If you put the spread on that, you're gonna lose $1.20 on that. So that's your risk, $1.20, and then you've got the. It's always going to retest. So the problem is that vibration is going to kick you out if. So last night I ran a limit grid. It was really broad. So you're either getting in this real tight stuff here, where if you let these stack up now, if you made this last for I think you'll get filled if you let this last for an hour. So if this thing's sitting here and they both lock in, you see them on the chart, you see the arrow show up, it means they're both sitting there pending, waiting to be filled. And then the market breaks out, fills one leg, never looks back, scalps to the 20, it's over, right? That trade's done. In 15 minutes, this will disappear. So that one that I got sitting out there should go away. After this, okay, so let me go back to the chart. So I could go to, if I wanted to trade more frequently, I would just go to the 5-minute and run this 15-minute doji. So you got, here's the doji breakout, a little choppy, but then finally resolves. Here it would have been the kickback that would have trounced your, this is why you couldn't, you wouldn't want to put a order in during this phase. You just have narrow windows of opportunity. Here's a doji, but the you know, they're going to chop you. Hopefully you took something, but you probably didn't, because your exits are really broad. So in a perfect world, you're going to wait for the, say, a 1 hour doji. So you don't get many. Here's one here. And coming to Asia, there's always these dojis, so it's a big payday on the, there's always this, come flying out of the gate. So that, like, here's Asia. You walk down here, it's quiet. If you're just running buy stops here, and you just get picked up at the round number with, and if you run in the doji bot, yeah, they're chopping you, but you're gonna cash out to here. Now, if you expanded that and made it so that you have a 15-minute doji that has 8 pip stops, so you have to have a series. You have to have a late, better to have, I know people can paint with 3 colors. You can do a painting with 3 colors if you know how to blend them. And you probably do it with 3 scripts, so you could have a, a break even and a, but you're also going to have orders that don't make a lot of money. So all these are hand placed buy limits. Just put a whole array down here. And if the market plunges down there, it comes back up, it shouldn't blow the account up. It should make money. See, the sell stop should go away here. So this sell stop right here should disappear in 15 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to get picked up, and it's just going to be, blind ambition. You're going down. And you just go with the flow. Now, this is really definitely not something I'd ever would do. It's very difficult to go with the flow. If you have a different view, I just, like I said, joined this group and on Facebook, and these people are just, I'm just going to, you want to kill people. So you just want to get out, you want to leave, but then you don't want somebody to say, well, what's the matter, man? What's the matter? You guys are out of your fucking mind. What's the matter, right? I don't know. So I just post things that I think are unique, but everybody's post looks like bullshit. But yes, so the waiting for the market to die down to a small zone. Another thing is, if you put this line chart on top of unbiased candles, these are my black candles matter charts. This hammer here, you would put a right now, since you're in there, you would put you put the buy stop, sell stop in there. But I'm just going to put a buy stop because I think it's going to keep going up. And maybe I'm wrong, and it hits the sell stop I already got. So if you hit the button every 15 minutes, you're risking $6 an hour, right? And you just know that. But if you're trying to make $12 an hour, you're not always going to get, the market's not always going to die out. So here in the 1 hour, here's a place to pull the trigger on maybe a 1 hour doji. Now, if you have a series where you have the 15-minute script running, it's got an 8 pip stop, and you've got the 30-minute, and it's got a 12 pip stop. When you get to the H1, I'm thinking, okay, maybe you go 15. So if you really like the trade, you're like, yeah, that's the spinning top. You've already hit this key with the 15 stop. This was the 12. This was the 8. So this one's looking to make 20. It has to make way more than normal. It's going to make 20. Risking 8 to make 20. This is going to risk 12 to make 30, and this is going to risk 15 to make 40. Right? This could be 45. But you got to go with what you do. You ideally want to get in here on the 15s, on the 30s, on the 1 hours. You hit all 3. You get stopped out of one of these, but you're still short for the whole drama down. Plus, you've got maybe a hand-placed element here. But you don't know how they're going to kick it out of the triangle. They're going to rape some people. There's no doubt. Some people are going to be left with, like, they're going to have to go get some, medication. So, and this bottom becomes a top here, but not exactly. So if you launch the Doji script here, you're going to make money, just out of sheer stupidity, a sheer lack of volatility, and then all of a sudden things get ramped up. And I guess if you're on the 15, here's you'd hit the 15 maybe twice here, and maybe even the 1 hour. Hit all three keys. You can see the spread here is getting in the way of your fill, so you're going to take some heat. And if you can get to where you can't see the spread, you're going to be on the 4-hour chart. So here's the 4-hour Doji. Thing is here, you actually at the end of that session right there, you kind of got a sell off. But it's not the same kind of entry. These kind of dojis on the 4-hour, these trades don't come up very often. I don't think it's even possible to trade volatility breakout on. I wouldn't want to on a 4-hour. You have to give it such latitude. Look at this. Keep banging off the round number. What a surprise. To the round, what a surprise. Through there, it blew through support today. Now we're trapped at the 50. Key support here for the bounce. You're running buy stops for a sweep up. They'll probably cash out here. Maybe they do take it back down. But you can see the exit. Here's you want to start buying in here. So this is all hand place crap out here. I could hit a button and lay a grid here, but I haven't decided. The problem is you program these keyboards, you have to know what's going on under the hood. You can't just be pulling levers. So the stop entry, if it says Doji here, and if you have this running on a tablet, you just hit this, right? You can be laying in bed and just have a Doji script by your bed and just hit this thing. It's the middle of the night. Okay, Doji, I don't know where it's going. So this is putting in the sell stop. I can't see if it put in the buy stop. I guess it did. So if it's going to keep tanking, then I'm going to write it down. Let's see here. So it should say, if I turn on the comments, it should say what the pending order looks like. So if I call that Doji here, I would see it show up in the platform. So I should probably change that to Doji just so I know that that's this strategy that's running. That's another problem is staying organized. It's always I always have a problem with that. It seems like you just get to it later. The important thing is to not miss out on an opportunity, I think. There's too many swings in here. So when the market pauses and you get a chance to, I just lost the, can't seem to get that script to show up. Oh, okay. Here we go. So I would just put buy stop H1. It should actually have the I'll put DJ in there because Doji is going to take up too much space. You're only allowed so many characters here. Okay, so now I'll pull the trigger on that. Now, I would look at the chart before I pulled the trigger on that, I guess. Okay, here we go. Make sure these are running because I don't know. I don't see the... So the sell stop didn't fill yet. And that's the thing because the moment I pulled that trigger, it was jumping down here. See, now as it comes down, the buy stops are starting to come in because that has been waiting. That order's been out there floating, waiting to get filled. The broker took it. It's off my system. So actually, it's not looping here for the fill. So that should be done. Oh, I guess it's not. I guess it is looped now. I must have screwed something up on that. Here's the sell stop. Pending now. So that was the last one waiting. So I got 3 buys and I got 1 sell there, and there's a sell here that hasn't. There's a sell that just filled. So I'm slightly short. So I have 1 buy, 2 sells, and I have 3 buys waiting to get filled if we go the other way. So we're locked in this thing. As the market's quieting down here, now you could hit the Doji button again right here. So now you see them both load. Boom, boom, because the market was quiet enough. And that's nice. Another thing that's nice about that kind of entry is that you're just going to go with what happens. And now I got my monster grid that's kind of spattered all over. So here it is. You're inside here, trapped, and whatever happens. And then say you start making money on these guys, so that the take profits are the blues. And here's these stops on either side. So you just set it and forget it on that. And I'm going to buy new lows in the guppy if it pulls back. So this could come down all the way to here and go all the way back up. It happens all the time. So this happens over and over again, and this has been trapped in this range for how long now? It's been trapped in here for how long? Double top. And they just, so all my cells are hand laid up here, and they all last like 12 hours. So just go to sleep if it comes up here and kicks around a little bit. Ideally, it's going to cut in, pull back, cash out, cut in, pull back, cash out, cut in. Same thing here, cut in, or it just flushes the whole thing out, or it's just kind of a creeper gear disaster where nothing ever resolves. Okay, now here I'm actually short, so I wouldn't go short down here. So I'm going to put 1 more buy stop in to compensate for that, to cancel out that doji. But if I'm flat during this whole up thing, I don't try to sell into that. Maybe this is the double bottom. Double top becomes bottom right here, so let that go sweeping up. But we could still plunge. So since you don't know, if you run the doji, you'll always be a trend trader, really, because you're just going with, well, whichever way it goes. Except for the fact that you're going to get clobbered if it goes, if this was the 5-minute chart and you launched it, if you can imagine how they would just whipsaw you to death. Like here's the 15. So my cells are making money now. Just because I put on the hedge on this. Now, if you're gonna come down to the, you're looking for maybe a zigzag here. This is like a doji on the 15. Try to translate. So here is a hammer. So these two is your entry. And now this, I kind of just to show you how that works, I just pushed it. I really shouldn't have pulled the trigger there because we didn't get this thing to kind of quiet down. And with rambunctious like this, then you'd be, okay, let's put in buy limits and sell limits that are a certain amount of distance away too. So you don't want to be too close to the market because it's better to wait for the market to quiet down, trade the breakout as it crushes into a zone, and then you've got your sell limits peppered that start above here. So let it fill the vacuum and then start selling up into it for the kickback. But when it's quiet like this, this body, I would say, look how many pips the body is. Forget about the wicks. Small bodies, you pull the doji button. The smaller the body, the more you pull the button. So it's kind of like, the hotter she is, the more you smack her around. So this in essence is a half-hour Doji, probably a nice small body on that. Same thing with a girl. You don't want some big. Here, this is 1 hour of Doji. Hitting that Doji button. So here, if you hit the Doji button, nice thing is that if it keeps going up, oh well. So you're taken care of to the upside. And you could ride it. You could just live off of 3 Dojis, right? But you have to wait. You do have to wait for the setup. I don't think you want to be launching it. When this thing's screaming down, if you should launch this thing, totally insane. Even after the end of that, if you should launch that, it's kind of insane. It's better you wait till this thing tightens up and these Bollinger Bands come in like this. Here's your wedge, flat top with a wedge underneath. Then you hit that Doji button. Otherwise, they're just going to have you for dinner. Here, I guess, it's such a Doji, you got to hit it. You're a trend trader now, and you don't know it. You just are. You could hit it here, and they're going to trap you a little bit, but man, it pays off. And if you wait for there's 24 candles a day on a 1 hour chart, so I'm waiting for a 1 hour Doji here. You nail it, right? How does this trade work out? You just got to have to put a wider stops and wider profits on it. That's all. So I'll post this script. This is it's pretty simple. You can make this as elaborate as you want because you can keep stacking. You could put, 3 1Ks in here. You can make a progressive entry where it gets in. Here you're stuck with 3 pips. The broker's forcing you to do this. But the beauty of that is that when the market comes down, if the broker's not accepting this at the moment, you're actually trading against your broker in a way because you're taking advantage of the fact that they're locking you out of this fill because the market's going up. As soon as it backs off, it's putting that stop in for you like a robot. And then you're still gonna lock in that pre-explosion entry. Now this could have a 10 pip stop in the next one, a 12 in the next one. You could put a pack in here, just like you would single them out to a different key. And of course you could make, if it's a really volatile market, you have a 10 pip, a 20 pip stop to make 600 pips as the news is coming out, whatever. And you get that, 1 hour Doji, and you launch that trade plan based on that pattern, like this, triangles, flags. People talk about flags all the time. Well, write a flag script, call it flag. Maybe it's going to be a bullish flag. So a bullish flag script would look like buy stop, buy stop, buy stop, buy limit, buy limit, buy limit with a tight stop. A master stop connected to these guys, your take profits come off it like this because you're expecting the market to flag out, Doji out, or a triangle out, which is the ultimate Doji where it gets super small. You break out of this thing, and maybe they chop you a little bit on the way up, but this is why if you're going to trade a 10K, you would just say 5K donated to, or I have a buy stop, 2 buy stops, 2 buy limits. So it's 4K. And you buy one at the market. So you buy one right now, you got buy stops here, buy limits here. You think it's going up, and they're probably going to fuck with you. And they're going to take it up a little bit and down a little bit. Of course, it depends what time frame you're on also. The 5-minute chart's coming down like this. Start peppering buy stops. A couple buy limits out in front. Market gets super quiet for an hour. You get a perfect Doji. Now you just start loading the wagon on this. And it could be in the middle of a downtrend. So if you don't know if it's going to reverse, it comes down like this. A Doji's out. It's either going to continue or it's going to reverse there. You got a small body, so you got a reason to load that. So it looks like we're going up here in some weird auction psychosis now. End of the week. Go back to the chart here. But yeah, it's, this takes, if you don't if you don't have but it does take the discipline of waiting. Now here you got the 1 hour hammer doji here, so you have been loading up, and here was the 5 minute. So here was your window to pull the trigger really hard on the tighter script. Maybe you're going to have a 5 pip breakout doji here. I'm sorry, you're still going to get in 3, but you're going to have a tighter stop. You're going to tighten the stop up to 6, which is actually a 9 pip stop if you had the spread. Now you do have to, another thing, you have to wait for this to play out. Another big grueling psychological torment. And here's a great doji right here. So on the 5 minute, if you're quick straw McGraw, then you're loving this entrance here. You just, like here was 3 trades. You might have got a little chopped here, but finally you're off to the races. Then here was like, wow, we just paused. Now, it could have reversed, but it didn't. So anytime you get this, it could have gone either way. Okay, here's the daily view. This is, we're making a doji right now. I'm waiting for these stops to get cleaned out going up. Take these out, and then just blow through the top of this. But in the meantime, look at all this stuff. So there's really no good. You can. This is not a 15-minute chart, but here's your only entries here. Sell this, bracket that, bracket that, bracket this. But you got to be cashing out on the wicks. Okay, we're going nuts here, and we're looking to cut through the top of this on the 5. So we filled one leg here. Got stopped out of one leg. The other leg's still going. So I could put in a hedge right now. But I think we are going to go up. And this on my cells, hand laid up here. I go to the 4-hour chart. So the 4-hour chart is horizontal support and resistance. Here's the doji right here. Pretty big, pretty skinny one. So this would be the target for the bulls. Right here, this doji. Here's the dead center of that is the bottom of here on the 4-hour. So here's a big cash out window for the swing, and then we reload for a retest because you always get these retests. Here was the top became a bottom here for the entry. You have your buy limit sitting here. They kick back and fill you the next day. Boom, you're off to the races. Psychotic ratios. This is a round number. This is 50 pip interval. Here is 100 pips. Here we fill on this. I don't know if anybody had the patience to wait for this fucking thing to come down here and retest. I certainly didn't. So if you don't have patience for this, I say go to just write a short-term script like this and run it. Here's the 15-minute. There was a small body. This one before was smaller, though. You want to go with the smallest body possible. Right here. If you could have a robot pull the trigger on this script on the smallest doji possible. Let's see, that would be the robot to build. Of course, spread here is going to crush you, but imagine this is the you're asleep and then you see the robot sees these dojis, gets in. This is my non-biased doji. There's nothing here but the bodies. So it's a little bit easier to get your get used to this view. A lot of people are stuck on these candles, I realize, but I don't really care about when the market opened, only because the sad thing about candlesticks, this thing closes here. All it's telling me is that, you know, it went down here. And it opens where it closed. So tops are becoming bottoms here. It doesn't, you know, it's redundant. If you take just the bodies, you see the line chart lines up with just the bodies. So if you chop the bodies, you're essentially looking at a line chart because you've chopped the wicks when you chop the body. Closes up, closes down. It doesn't matter where it opened. It doesn't matter where it opened, see? It closed here, you pull the trigger. Boom, it's too late to get in. You're chasing it now. Trying to throw those buy limits in. Here, it quiets down, small body. You would hit the key because it's only slightly up. It hasn't left the station yet. That body's created by the fact that it hasn't moved that far in that time period. So once if you want to see that, if you want a big, bold visual cue, is you're looking for small bodies. These two small bodies up here on the 15, premium entry. So now we're looking to get out here on these longs. So a logical exit. And then we're going to buy on pullbacks. So here's the 15-minute buy limits. Right there. So if you go out to here, you see this is the big trap. You're buying these new lows down in here. So your first scalp would have been this one. Then you get to get in it again. So there's double plunge. If you're doing a catch a falling knife entry, but you're also doing the Doji. Pull the trigger here. It goes sideways, especially in Asia, and it just spills out. You always see this kind of gets quiet and then goes nuts. Okay, big 930 coming up. Big smash up here. So this is coming near my exit. I think I could overshoot maybe a little bit. And then I just get out and cash out, reload on the buy limits now. 15-minute, real aggressive, looking for that smash down where they come smashing down and then they go back up. Or we come up into here, grab these guys. But this is going to be the first obstacle, or this will be the first big monster pivot where you got a bottom became a top here. Now if they can beat down the people that have stops here and trap them, there's another exit. But these are all exits along the way, and it can, you know, ideally it is a big curved exit where you're just getting out. Okay, I'm cashing out here. I was going to rip it back now. I'm going to put the buy limits in. Looking for a big buyer's remorse now. Okay. So that's the Doji script. Right there. Well, that's the simple. So you're risking $2.40 to make possibly $2. That's the worst thing it is. You're actually going to lose money. Now you could bump these up to 25, make these 30. Then you're going to make better than that. If you only fill on one leg, you're going to clean house. Because you're going to risk 12 to make 30 on one leg if you fill on one leg. So the other option is to just build a buy stop only and a sell stop only, and then just lay them in as the market comes down. You're running buy stops and the market drifts up, you run sell stops and you lock in a hedge. So you let the market weave you in. It plunges down, you have the buy stops, it goes up, you put the sell stops, and when it pauses, that's just when you get in those things. So here you might have the sell stops running. But like here, if it was every 5 minutes went by, and you just kept hitting the buy stop key here, your first doji to hit a buy stop, then you wouldn't hit one here, and then you'd hit one here because you have a small body on these two. Let me just try to zoom in on that. So you'd have to have a, when you see this doji, you have a buy stop. You don't go for the sell stop. You think this could be the pause before a blast up, and you don't put a buy stop here because you don't have a doji. Right? Now, if you put your hedge on here and you're getting trapped here, you put your hedge on here, you're not getting filled on this leg. You're going to end up losing here. And if you don't get stopped out of this leg, you'll be long here. Or you're just going to go back here. If your ratio is to the 3-to-1 here, then you're really going to, see some serious dough. So here's the big pullback strategy on the limits. We're looking for a big rip back to reality. But this time of night, you're going to get nothing but this kind of up and down garbage. Now, it could take off like a rocket. It's been known to happen. And, but people don't see that coming. Man, that's a gold mine. It's like this gold thing. Really? You think gold's really going to go to 2,500 an ounce? I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. If this Trumpster wins, once people are able to actually go do stuff with their money, there's no telling what'll happen. Once they release the hounds, a lot of money's been locked up in tax shelters and loopholes. And, the reason why they tax people is not to, in the United States, they don't tax people to pay for the government because obviously they're able to go beyond what they collect. Taxes for revenue are to keep, well, I guess it's a psychological thing, but it actually keeps inflation down. Imagine if you were able to spend everything you made. Man, you talk about hyperinflation. So this is why, when they do have these taxes that are outrageous, you're kind of giving this, you're taking some money out of circulation. Well, I was just told that back in, I don't know, it wasn't that long ago that the Federal Reserve Chairman said that once that taxes for revenue are obsolete. Beardsley Rummel. Look up Beardsley Rummel. It's like one of these Philadelphia Federal Reserve, one of these guys from some state. And really it is. Because they're just printing money. They don't care. So waiting for a doji to form and waiting for the market to pull back. That's the whole scheme. That's the 15-minute doji. And here's a 15-minute chart. You can put the 5-minute chart in the foreground. So if you're sitting here with your finger on the trigger, maybe you put the doji in right now. So here's your first signal. You kind of have to anticipate, you kind of rush in here a little bit, but yeah, it's got top bottom on the 5, so what the hell. And the sell stop didn't come in because it was pulling back, so you only have this buy stop sitting there with a buy limit. And that's another thing, if you want to trend trade it, you have that combo plate, buy limits and buy stops, and You could buy at the market, I guess. I would get a better price than that stop, so I get a slight discount if I bought at the market here. But we could pull back, and if this pulls back and 15 minutes go by and we don't take out this top, this order would disappear. So it lets you lock in to the lets the market take you in based on how it's behaving. Because these things, markets go through these phases of just insanity, and this retest down here where they chop people to death, and people, this is just another breakout that just never breaks out. And look, it closed right into that. Just closed in it so tight. This is the big kahuna trade. This is the trade. My favorite trade in the world is the reversal. It's got to be the favoriteest trade. Like if you're selling this right now, you're like, oh yeah. And then they take it back to here, maybe get out, take it back to here. But your buy limit's sitting here if you think this is going up. If you think it's going down, you had a sell limit here to capture this pullback for the scalp to here, and then you go the other way. So you actually be always in, but you got to dance with the thing, and you got to like, okay, we're going up, we're going down, we're going. If you do it too much on a smaller time frame, you're going to get chopped in the commissions and spread. There's this video of this guy selling this system that's see now this has not filled this script, so I get this warning. Do you really want to stop the doji? Now that's because the sell leg never filled. Now the thing is, if I click on this chart right now, I guess see it doesn't want to kill it. But this keeps you from over trading. See, now the hand drops don't do that. If you have single drop, scripts will never crash the platform because they won't even, since you're dropping one at a time, it's rejected right off the bat. So if you put in a buy here with an APIP stop, if it can't take it, it won't. And since you're dropping them one at a time, it won't loop on you the way it's written. So if you wanted to buy a retest here at the 50, the APIP stop, it looks like that. Here we go. So I'm going to go off the races now. Okay, still no fill on that buy stop. And just flat waiting for the a doji to pull the doji button. Or just pull the buy stop button if you think it's going up. If you think it's the only pullback. It's already got one buy stop in there. So I'd probably just put another buy limit in here. It's a big giant trap on the 15. So that's kind of a great, because yeah, I think everybody knows it's going up. So this is where they usually smash it. Here's where the top becomes, the bottom become a top failure is about to possibly occur. We go here for sideways for a little bit. We come back to this double top, and then boom, we go crushing through the top of that. That's another thing that could happen. In that case, you'd be buying here on limits. So I got the limits set here. I got a stop above. Every 5 minutes that goes by, I could say, okay, I'm going to put a buy stop in. Let that stack up.